Hey, how's it going and welcome to another video. Have you ever fallen out of love? I'm sure we've all had this happen at some point in our weeaboo careers, where there's a character from a game or a show or whatever, and without any particular knowledge of the character, I guess you kind of attach yourselves to them. I find that happens a lot when you're visually very attracted to a character and then you sort of weirdly retroactively agree with yourself after you finish playing it. Just as an example, Bedman is a character that I was pretty much immediately enraptured with, and now he's my favorite fighting game character of all time and one of my favorite characters from anything ever. So it's kind of interesting the lasting effect that a good design can have on you. I don't want to get too far into armchair psychology sort of shit, but I don't know, I think it has something to do with the way the human ego really doesn't like being proven wrong. So it's very difficult sometimes to break that initial bond you have with the character. Because even if it's something as petty as I don't know, I like her hair, you still don't want to be proven wrong. So before we get too far into it, I want to say this story does have a happy ending. It's like the hero's journey, you know, you have to have a bump in the road somewhere in the middle. So don't think this is like a negative video, this is just my own personal kind of experience with this character. But anyways, 3 houses, okay. So I don't think this is like a treasonous opinion to say that, at least from my perception, when a lot of the 3 houses characters were first revealed, in terms of just their visual design, I feel like everybody kind of let out a collective, Although now it seems like they're the summer 2019 darlings of the internet and artists everywhere. Back then, I feel like a lot of these characters weren't quite clicking with people. Just from a visual standpoint, obviously. We really didn't know very much about them as people. But the one character that stuck out to me and a lot of others was Bernadetta. And I thought, you know, what's not to like? She's got that kind of scruffy hair that I'm a fan of. She's timid, shy. And without too much information, I kind of thought, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna like Bernadetta. She's cute. Seems like my type of girl. Let's see where it goes. So I got the game, went Black Eagles, and immediately I was like, alright, waifu time with Bernie. And she's actually a really pretty sad character. I think it's very easy for people to get wrapped up in this idea of this wonderful, shy, neat GF. How good. And Bernie is totally a shut-in. There's absolutely a difference between just a shy girl and one who's just slam the door, do not fucking come in here. I tend to enjoy more of the I'm just kind of shy types. Fuka from Persona 3, I think, is a really good example of kind of this middle ground that I like, to where it's less of a compulsive fear and more of a lifestyle choice, I guess. Fuka would rather stay home and just eat some snacks and play video games. But if there's something to do outside, alright, let's go outside. Whereas Bernie is a little bit more on the dark side of the force. She's a character who's really riddled with a lot of fear and paranoia, and that becomes a very important factor in the story later on. But yeah, she's actually a pretty sad character. She was more or less groomed to be this perfect wife, since she's a noble, and there's a lot of shit in 3 houses especially, but in Fire Emblem in general, about nobility and how that whole concept is just kind of shitty. I don't know what her fucking asshole of a dad was thinking, but when you lock a kid in a room and expect them to just not think about anything, obviously, they're not gonna want to go outside and then think about things. So eventually, she just stopped wanting to deal with people, just wanted to stay in her room, embroider, play with stuffed animals, and just keep to herself. And overall, my view of her character was, I would say it was more positive than negative. I feel bad saying this, but her intense lack of self-worth was a little bit irritating. You know, I liked seeing the Bernie that was more, she was kind of in her own world, just having a nice time. A lot of her supports having to do with her mindset, I thought were really interesting. The one with her and Dorothea especially comes to mind. It gives this interesting insight into why she's so afraid of commoners. And it's not because of any, commoners kind of thing. It's more like if I associate with you, I'm afraid my dad is gonna beat you up kind of thing. Because there's this commoner boy she was friends with and her dad, beat him half to death. But then there's ones like Edelgard's, which I think is okay, I don't hate it, but there's all these moments where I feel like she's so close to making some kind of breakthrough, and it just doesn't quite happen. And I understand that she's paranoid and that she has a hard time trusting people. But here's a little bit from her support with Edelgard. This is the A support. Edelgard, before I met you, I was more prone to anger, but now I've changed in that regard, so thank you for that. Oh, I suppose you're not listening. Bernadetta, oh, I'm done for. 5 years worth of resentment is about to crash down on me all at once. Ah! I am, in fact, going to be voicing Bernie in Fire Emblem Heroes, so look forward to my debut role. But I don't know if it's meant to be a comedy thing, because to me, it's not funny. It's very sad, and maybe that's the point? But eventually it kind of reaches this point for me, I think, where it has to kind of stop being comedy and has to be an actually serious thing. Like, I'm okay with the whole, oh, Bernie, you're so stupid thing early on in supports. But once I'm at the A support and the same sort of thing is still happening, it makes me wonder, is this supposed to be funny? Am I supposed to feel bad? And so sometimes it would land not quite, like, on one side. It wouldn't be particularly funny, because her trauma that she's gone through is so, like, it really sucks. But on the other hand, I'm not getting this, like, character growth that I'm really wanting from her. But before this starts to feel too negative, I do want to say that I do really like a lot of her supports. It's just very hit and miss for me. Like, the one she has with Leonie is, like, really cute. It's simple, it's to the point, it's a nice, concise little story about Bernadetta getting some confidence in her embroidery, which is like a really, really helpful skill. And Leonie's like, hey, we can work off of each other. You know, I'm a little bit rough and tumble. You're able to fix stuff. We make a good little team. And it doesn't end with any Bernadetta freakout. Like, here's a quote from Leonie. Hey, come on, I know you're not the most confident, but this is getting silly. Of course we're friends. I completely trust you. And Bernadetta doesn't have a freakout. She doesn't go, oh, like, Bernadetta doesn't go, oh, you actually hate me, I bet you're laughing about my embroidery behind my back, oh. It's just a nice moment. They're both like, yeah, we're friends, we can work off of each other. It's nice. And I think it's the supports in the moments like that that really shine. The Bernadetta that's learning to deal with, like, her issues and learning how to make friends and find worth in her own abilities. Not the Bernadetta who's freaking out, paranoid, and reaching these half resolutions with these characters. So then the time skip happens, and I gotta say, I really, really, really liked Bernie after the time skip. She would obviously still rather stay in her room, but she's a lot more willing to come out of her shell and speak her mind, and of course she's still paranoid about stuff, but she feels tougher. Her hair is more well kept and seems like combed, as if she actually gives a shit about going outside and not looking like a fucking mess. Other characters even comment about how she's, like, really come out of her shell and how she's easier to talk to. Also, she gets a good bit taller. She grows like 5 inches. 15 centimeters for people using the actually sensible unit of measurement. And I just thought that was great. It's like she's gotten better over these 5 years. You can still tell it's the same Bernie, but she's gotten over some of her paranoia and some of her weakness. And it feels like a natural character growth. Like, this is what Bernadetta would be like, surrounded by all these friends and stuff, 5 years later. And at this point, I was pretty resolute in the idea that Bernadetta was going to be the one I was going to marry. I thought, alright, great, you know, she used to have a lot of this paranoia and stuff, but she's gotten over it, she's a tougher person, she's going to make a good wife. Alright, here we go. And then you get to her S support. And I don't think this has ever quite happened to me before, where a single line just kind of makes me like, damn, did I waste my time? So when you start her S support, it starts off pretty natural. Bernie starts to, like, kind of revert to the way she was before, because now she's afraid that the war is over. She's gonna have to go back to the way her life was before she went to Garreg-Mach. You know, it's a reasonable fear. And then you bring her to the Goddess Tower. And she unironically asks you if you're going to kill her. She says, this is it, we're all alone, the perfect time, you're going to kill me, aren't you? And I just read that line, and I had to put my controller down for a second to digest what was just said. This woman really thinks I'm gonna kill her. After 5 years of what I thought was Bernie becoming, like, so much stronger, less afraid, less paranoid, she's gonna ask me if I'm gonna kill her? And it feels like I'm making a marriage proposal to the old Bernie. It felt like instantaneously she had regressed 5 years, and all the things that I loved about time skip Bernie were kind of just gone. She's back to talking about how she wants to hide away and not deal with people, and I was just like, oh my god. Can you imagine, just for a moment, like you have a girl you want to marry, you set up a nice romantic, I don't know, but you're alone with her, you got the ring, you're about to pop the question, and she asks, unironically, if you're about to kill her. Would that not kill the mood? Because it did for me. I was like, alright, well, I wonder if Leonie's still single. There's just so many little things about the S support that annoy me. Like, if they had just done, like a bait and switch, like, Bernadetta starts going, oh, you're gonna kill me, and then she's like, well, maybe that's what I would have said 5 years ago, or something. Or maybe just not fucking say, are you going to kill me? And she starts talking about how anywhere you go, she wants to be with you. Or other way around, it's more like it. Wherever Bernadetta goes, she wants you to be there. And I cannot recall another time in my vast history of slaying anime pussy that I've, like, gotten the girl, and I've just thought, I want to undo this. Like, I feel really bad saying this, but that's just how I felt. So there I was with this Bernadetta that reminded me of, like, making a bad investment in the stock market. Bernadetta truly was the Bitcoin of Fire Emblem Three Houses. You just see it go up and up and up and get better and better. And then overnight, it just kind of, the value plummets. So after sitting on it for a while and thinking about it, I thought, alright, let's think about this. Maybe Bernadetta isn't good wife material, but I still liked her as a character. I really enjoyed her character development. I liked a lot of her supports. I enjoyed seeing the journey. It's just, I felt like she tripped at the finish line. But then I thought, okay, maybe she doesn't appeal to me. But I actually do think she's really, really cute with one character in particular, and that is my boy Linhardt. I thought that support was really, really kind of cute. Since they're both people that would rather not deal with socializing and stuff, they just have very different reasons for why. For Bernie, it's kind of a fear, and for Linhardt, it's more like, this is such a hassle. Like, then there's that line at the end where Linhardt just straight up says, you're cute. I was like, damn, bro, go get him, Linhardt. So I think they're kind of a cute couple. And I think they're really good for each other. Like, maybe Bernadetta could use somebody who's a little bit more outgoing, but I think Lynn is at this perfect balance between having a similar philosophy of like, yeah, going outside sucks, but also being like, okay, but yeah, you kind of have to go outside sometimes. And their ending together is really cute. Like, they both become teachers at Garreg Mach. They'd make for a pretty good team. So to top it all off, I definitely had a very peaks and valleys journey with Bernadetta. You know, pretty good start with just her design and the baseline knowing about her character. Then things kind of dip when it's like, oh, okay, she actually has problems. Then another high after the time skip. Then the worst low for me with her S support. And then she's kind of gone back towards being a upper, like, I'd say like a high tier character for me. Like her supports with a lot of the characters. I just feel like in some areas she's half-baked, and she gets so close to making these little breakthroughs, and I'm always rooting for her to, like, just cross that finish line and, like, get some fucking confidence, girl. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that's life, I guess. So anyways, that was my tumultuous journey with Bernadetta. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.